Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from CNN. It was written on March 8th by Gene Norman, explaining climate change, the new role of the TV weathercaster. Yes, do you know what the new role of the TV weathercaster, and they're praising it, is? To be the propagandist for climate change. So, you want to go check and see what, the upcoming days weather's going to be like, or tomorrow's temperatures, or the week forecast, or anything like that. You're going to have to be subjected with climate change propaganda. Yeah, that's what I really want. No, when I go and tune in for the weather, you dumb shit. Or I should say shits, because even though Gene Norman wrote this is the ideology of the left. I only want my weather. I don't want anything else. I want to know what the temperature's going to be. I want to know if I'm going to need to bring an umbrella, or if it's going to snow and I'm going to have to, plan to, when I wake up, be up a little bit early so I can go clean off the car and get it warmed up. Those are the things that I'm concerned about. I don't want to be propagandized with climate change ideology. And they're praising this. When most people tune into their local TV news stations, they're used to learning whether it's going to rain tomorrow from the trusted, familiar voice of their favorite TV meteorologist or weathercaster. Well, that's all they want. That's all they care about. Yet, increasingly, those viewers are also learning about the effects of climate change in their own communities from those same trusted voices. See, what's funny is no one trusts the weatherman because they can't predict shit. You get a rough idea, but especially living in New England, weathermen are more wrong than right because of the fact of how our weather is. One minute it could be 90 degrees and sunny, the next minute you're literally getting snow. Later on in the day. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but you get the idea. See, this is, while people will trust them, we can use them to force feed them global change ideology. And CNN is pushing for this, going, it's a good thing. Well, of course, because it's CNN. I mean, this video up here, I would have gone through it, but it really got me because it's like, bring up the fact that we've had record cold when they're talking climate change. They basically try to straw man it. And the idea of you can't get the climate models right, which they can't. They try to straw man and go, well, we take the averages. But they're also messing with the numbers because they're not just taking the numbers and putting them in. They're actually wiping out whole sets of numbers going, well, they're unimportant. Not in your model. It should be taken into account. It should be taking into account every bit of data. More data, more accuracy. But yeah, this is what they're pushing here. It was once thought to be a topic to be avoided, but many on TV have become emboldened to talk about the subject as their own understanding has evolved. Now, what's funny is most weathermen, meteorologists, well, not most, but a lot of them have no actual credentials. They're just a pretty face in front of a green screen. Honest to God. Yeah, this is someone we should trust. And this idea of, people on TV who've got no clue, preaching to other people like they have a clue. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we should be praising that. We should be praising that. People on TV that no one cares what they have to say because, there's some local celebrity on the news, from the local news. No one cares what they have to say. I mean, do you see anyone on Family Guy give a shit what Tom Tucker has to say? Of course not. It's like that in the real world, too. Ed Maybach, director of George Mason University's Center for Climate Change Communication, has surveyed TV weathercasters since 2010 on their opinions on climate change, as well as the incorporation of the topic into their broadcasts. Translation: he was trying to see how much propaganda was being force-fed down the American people's throats. That's what he was doing. I mean, when you're from the Center for Climate Change Communication, and you're trying to push the whole climate change thing, that's what you're doing when you're doing what they're saying you're doing. His results show a dramatic shift in the past 10 years. In 2010, the broadcast community was split right down the middle. 50% of those surveyed were convinced that humans were causing climate change, and 50% weren't. Of the half who weren't, most acknowledged that climate is changing. They just didn't see the human connection. Because there is no real human connection. It's all assumptions. And you know what assume means? You make an ass out of you and me. Al Gore has made an ass out of himself because he made all these predictions. And they've, had experts with him making predictions. They all assumed, and they all assumed wrong. Al Gore, the man who's saying that the coast should be underwater, has a palatial mansion on the coast. That should tell you how much he believes in his own bullshit. I mean, it's oh, God. What Maybach found most disturbing, however, was that a significant amount, roughly 20%, didn't even acknowledge that the climate was changing. Well, the funny thing is no, they didn't believe. See, this is what's funny, is this is a complete misstatement. What we're talking about is global warming. They didn't necessarily buy into global warming because well into the 70s, into the 80s, you had the climate experts saying we were heading towards an ice age. Then, all of a sudden, when things weren't getting as cold as they thought, and they were predicting, fire and brimstone and all this other stuff, and it wasn't working, and the climate actually seemed like it was remaining constant, they said, ooh, global warming. This is a historical fact on this note. So those people are probably from the school of thinking we're heading into an ice age, which things still look like we could be. It's just it's slowed on that note. Because the models that they had were way more aggressive. This is funny. In the most recent survey conducted in 2017, that number has dropped, and now 95% of broadcasters believe that the climate is changing. Additionally, 85% of those surveyed see humans as the cause. So, yes, they're going to preach. They're going to propagandize the local weather. And you're going to have, and just to listen to find out, for like a minute worth of your time, you're going to have to sit through 10 minutes of propagandized bullshit just to get the fucking temperature outside. Whoa, woohoo. Yeah, let's praise this. Getting local with global warming. What changed? Maybach points to an initiative launched in 2010 by Climate Central, a nonprofit news organization of scientists and journalists who research and reports on climate change called Climate Matters. As an academic researcher, Maybach partners with Climate Central on the project, tracking the use of the materials and investigating their effectiveness. Yeah, because they want the ideology out there. They're trying, because in part, these people need climate change to exist. They don't have a job. They don't have their careers. They don't have shit. They're going to be living on a street corner. Okay, actually, no. They're going to be like Chris Farley's character, They're going to be living in a van down by the river. That's what they know. And it scares them because they don't want to be living in a van down by the river. But that's what would happen to them. If this was all proven to be bullshit tomorrow, none of them has a marketable skill. And Starbucks can only handle, hiring so many baristas. Sorry. So, yeah, they're going to be destitute, living in a van down by the river. The program provided weathercasters with tools they previously lacked, localized climate data tailored to a specific TV market, which they're taking at face value. How do we know that these people aren't faking the data? I mean, we've seen them get caught faking climate data. NOAA got caught closing temperature monitoring stations in more rural areas. And the reason behind it is they didn't have things like, the reflective heat and heat stored in by like hot top and stuff like that. So the temperatures were actually more accurate and they weren't helping them with their case. Jesus. Jim Gandy, a local TV meteorologist in the deep red state of South Carolina, launched the pilot Climate Matters project, and Maybach gauged the success of the program by surveying viewers from Gandy's and competitors' stations. We found that We found that more viewers watched Jim's station, the more likely their views on climate change evolved, my box said. Oh, so what you're saying is, let me put that into simplest terms. The more people who watched that particular news station got brainwashed into the climate change thing. They were propagandized into buying everything that was being said to them, probably by someone who doesn't really have a background in climate. It's just a pretty face in front of a green screen, into buying this shit because they think of them as some kind of expert. Meteorologists really aren't climate experts. They understand how, tracking weather and shit like that. They're like the guy from The Perfect Storm. They're like that meteorologist out of Boston that they based it on. Oh God, what was his name? What is his name? He's still alive. Oh shit. But yeah, that's what those meteorologists do. They're not actual climate, experts or climate change experts, but they're being passed off as that. And they're being used to propagandize the public. And they just said it works. They recognized that it was happening, and it was happening to them locally. Those results gave us confidence to know that when broadcast meteorologists talk to their audiences about climate change, it helped viewers understand that it is real and impacting them. Oh my God! You had some wannabe expert on climate telling them that they believe is an expert. That's why. Jesus Christ. Gandhi strives to avoid the politics and stick to the facts of the science. Ha! Bullshit! 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 Sorry. A little cough there. Yeah, dude. Right. Sure you do. I can tell you're a lefty with this shit. Shut the hell up. This is like the idea of Twitter with them going, oh, we don't have political ideology come into it. When you have Jack and JJ, whatever her name is, going up against Tim Pool, oh, we don't let politics come into it. Yeah, right. Same exact type of situation. When you tell people that it's the 5th hottest summer on record, they kind of look at you like, really? Well, when it's literally every time in the margin for error and you keep playing the margin of error, yes, you can keep pulling that crap. Gandhi has been tracking trends in his state and noticed something that really got his attention. In heat waves of the past, it may have been blazing hot in the daytime. At least you got a little bit of relief at night. You're not getting any relief at night here. Oh, that's not a scientific observation. Okay, this is basically you trying to take something from your life and go, oh, that's fact. No, that's not. It might be, the case that you believe that, but it's not something that actually backs your thing here. Anyway, he rarely reasoned the lack of warmth overnight was connected to higher humidity due to a generally warmer climate. That warmer atmosphere allows for the capture of more moisture, a connection he was able to point out to his viewers. Though summer's heat might be dismissed by some, even when confronted by the temperature facts, Gandhi points to other signs that are harder to dismiss, such as things viewers have probably experienced. Well, let's talk about personal experience. I live in New England. Now, we would have these really hot, humid points in the summer. In the last several years, our summers have actually been pretty damn mild in comparison to previous ones. What do you got to say about that? Huh? I can throw the same type of shit back at you, dumb shit. Jesus Christ. People complain about the weeds in our yards because they're growing faster these days. Why is that? Not because I'm fertilizing the yard. We're seeing more invasive species coming into the area. Why? Because our climate is getting warmer. And you can deny climate change until you're blue in the face, but you can't deny reality. No, it's not a reality. Okay, having more weeds could just be the fact that the birds are eating the seeds, they're flying over your yard, and they're shitting more dandelions on your lawn. Holy shit. You could have an increase in bird population. There's more birds out there. They're eating, say, more dandelion seeds, and they're transmitting the dandelion seeds. Okay, then you have the fact that the seeds blow around, so then it grows exponentially. I mean, there's a lot of explanations. You can't just go, well, I saw this and go, that makes it a global, irrefutable, non-deniable fact. You can't do that. But that's what they're actually trying to pass off here as something acceptable, but we're talking CNN. Viewers receptive to climate information. Research is backing up the conclusion that viewers react positively to climate change information being presented by TV weathercasters. It's not that they're reacting positively. What that translates to is that it's being spoon-fed to them, and it's sinking in more, and it's rotting their brains because they're being told by some wannabe who's not an expert, that they perceive as an expert, that all this stuff is true. When we're literally talking about an industry that all these people rely on the fact of climate change to have careers, to be able to pay their bills. And then if tomorrow this was proven bullshit, they'd, like I said, be living in a van down by the river. Fucking idiots. According to a study released this month by researchers at George Mason University, 70% of viewers surveyed were interested in learning about climate change from TV segments. Even among those who identified themselves as unconvinced about climate change, a majority were open to seeing climate change information tailored to their locality. Well, maybe they just want to see what you have to say. I mean, you're trying to make it sound like, hey, we're having success here. We're conning the people. We're getting them to buy into our shit. And then you look at that, and that doesn't necessarily say that. It says that they're open to hearing what you have to say, which is something that the left likes to take advantage of on people that are right of them. But they're never open to hearing what someone else has to say, because they've become these moral arbiters, and their ideology and belief system is what's right. Screw everyone else and what they believe. But when it goes the other way around, they're perfectly fine with people having an open mind and being receptive to seeing what they have to say. It's kind of funny. The public's appetite for climate information is being noticed by local TV weathercasters. In 2005, when Ryan Hannaran took a position as a meteorologist with the NBC affiliate in Hartford, Connecticut, he was not focused on climate change. Yeah, well, okay. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe it was happening, but rather I saw my job as telling people what to wear tomorrow, the chance of thunderstorms, and to track hurricanes. In fact, he says, he shied away from talking about it for the first 5 years at the station, which was what he should have done. This is what people want. This is what's fucked up. They're trying to make it sound like, oh, people want to be, brainwashed. They want to be propagandized into hearing about climate change. Just because they're saying, well, they're more receptive to it because you've been browbeating them to it. What gets me is he had the right idea when he first started there. People just want to know if they need a raincoat, an umbrella, if they're going to have to wear extra layers, if they're going to have to shovel the car out, if they're going to have to clean the car off. That's what they want to know. They don't care about anything else. They sit there through the most of these people that just want to check the weather. They sit through large segments of the news program just to get that one little thing. Then they don't want to, and they bitch about it, because I know I have. I'm like, where the hell's the weather? I just want the goddamn weather. You said the weather was coming up right now. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. You said that 10 minutes ago. So, I mean, if they're like that, they don't want the other shit being forced down their throat. But now he sees a different trend. Viewers posing more climate questions. This summer, for instance, we had 3 tornadoes within the span of a few weeks, and I saw comments on social media asking, why aren't you talking about the link with climate change? Because, oh my God, holy shit, New England gets fucking hurricanes. All right, the East Coast gets hurricanes. They get tornadoes. They get snow. They get it all. It's New England. The Northeast just gets a variety of weather. Jesus Christ. Just because there aren't trailer parks in Connecticut doesn't mean tornadoes aren't going to hit the ground. And they're actually quite common in the Northeast. They're just small ones that really don't do shit. We've had a couple big ones. Big friggin' whoop. His outreach is also an attempt, and also, when they're using that statement, it's a baited thing. They're trying to be like, well, the people. This could have been just one person that asked that question. His outreach also is an attempt to meet viewers where they are and address practical concerns. I think a lot of people are really curious and need someone to distill what seems like an abstract science to tell them how is this going to affect my backyard? How is this going to affect my property values? Am I going to be placed in a flood zone? Oh my God, people aren't thinking like that. They're not thinking, how's climate change going to affect my backyard? They're not thinking about how it's going to affect their property values. Unless they're like, well, shit, am I going to have waterfront property? Is my property value going to go up on that note? And of course, I'm being sarcastic there. But yeah. And this idea that this dipshit, who is not a climate expert, he's a fucking weatherman, is going to field their questions and answer them is hilarious. That's the blind leading the blind. Yeah, he might be a little less blind. He might be legally blind as opposed to actually blind, but he's still blind. Holy crap. Thanks to materials from Climate Matters, Hanaran is able to provide that kind of localized data and help viewers understand what it means for them. So basically, Climate Matters, a propaganda organization that needs climate change to exist, is pushing out this information that, for all we know, could be inaccurate, could just be the screwed with numbers models and stuff like that. We have no proof to back, to verify its background. And he's putting it out there like he's some expert. That's dishonest. Even if they, because regardless, he's acting like some expert. So even if it was accurate information, it would still be dishonest because people are looking at him and he's acting like he's a know-it-all that actually knows it all. Jesus Christ. The success of local TV weathercasters like Gandhi and Hanaran has allowed Maybach to secure additional funding from the National Science Foundation to expand the Climate Matters program, and as a result, he has seen exponential growth in the number of broadcasters incorporating climate change into their presentations. Excuse me, but the National Science Foundation? Aren't they like federal money? Why the hell are they funding this? Oh my God! Holy sweet Jesus. God damn. So basically, well, we're succeeding at propagandizing the people. They're going to give us more money. So the more people they propagandize, the more money they make. It's a never-ending vicious circle. By 2014, we had 100 meteorologists using the materials, Maybach said. From there, we went to 300 in 2016. Now we're almost at 600. So literally, it's going to be a point where you turn on the weather, your local station. It's probably close to that at this point with 600. And you're going to be propagandized. Just trying to find out if you need to have an umbrella tomorrow, or if you're going to have to get up a little bit early to shovel out and clean off the car. Give me a break. We just want our damn weather. But the growth in red states has really surprised him. We're doing well in Texas, which is a deep red state, in Florida, which leans red, Maybach said. No, what you have is in those states, people in the media, like even the weathermen in the local news stations or whatever, tend to lean left. They're just forcing the shit down the residents' throats. Holy shit. From what I've seen, broadcasters in red states are being pretty fearless. They're getting the job done, and they're not shying away from the truth. And I think it's really a good story to tell. Whose truth? You guys can't predict shit. Every prediction you dumb shits have made has been proven to be inaccurate. Or all out wrong. All the experts were made to look like shit with the inconvenient truth. Al Gore was made to look like shit. 10 of the 11 claims in that movie were found in a court of law to be complete and total horseshit. Oh my God. And what they're saying is they're being pretty fearless. Is they're forcing this shit down the residents' throat in Texas. And they're getting the job done. This is like propaganda. He's like Goebbels talking about his minions. Go, oh, they're getting the job done. They're not shying away from the truth. Again, whose truth? Your models are full of shit. Your collection of data can be questionable. Your manipulation of the data can be questionable. It's not like you have raw data. You people fuck with the data and then put it into your models. Oh my God. And of course you think it's a really good story to tell when you've got these people forcing this shit down red states' throats. You know, this is ridiculous. This truly is ridiculous. They're bragging about this. They're talking about how they are propagandizing the weather and how they are doing it in red states and getting away with it. How they are, oh, look at those red state dupes. We're getting them to buy into our shit. They're bragging about it. They're rubbing it in our faces that they're doing this shit, that they're actually using something that we tune into to find out if we need, you know, a code or whatever the case may be with the weather, you know, one umbrella, whatever, that they're using it to indoctrinate us. They're bragging about that. They shouldn't be bragging about this shit. See, the left, with all their crap, all of it, they've gotten to a point where they just don't give a shit. They're bragging about it. You got them bragging, like with the House, a video I did a little bit earlier. They're flaunting the fact that they want illegals to vote. They're flaunting the fact that they're forcing this shit down people's throats. They don't care because they've had no one stand up to them, really. And they keep getting away with shit. They're like, well, might as well just tell them right to their faces what we're doing to them. And this needs to stop. It really does. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.